Hi, this is me, Tami DeVine, for Tami's Take. I wanted to do something a little different for Tami's Take today. I want to ask if there are super women among us. I think there are. If you don't think there are any super women among us, I think the closest we might get to that is Tunisia Offray. She is a single mother of 4. She runs 2 businesses, and she helps victims of domestic violence. She helps women escape domestic violence, and that's a pretty big deal to me. And so with me today is Tunisia. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Part of the reason that you're here is we want to talk about an event that you have coming up called the Women Wealth Warriors Luncheon. That's quite a name. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, it's funny because when I first started the luncheon, it was called Mind, Body, and Soul. In the past, I would say 4 years, I changed the name to Women Wealth Warriors because I felt that, of course, women, it's an event and a luncheon geared around women, and wealth, financial security, building your empire, building your foundation financially. So that's where wealth comes from. And warriors, because I feel like women are warriors. We're out there fighting every day. We're fighting the good fight. Yeah.
Yes,
the kids, business, we're out there fighting. So that's how I got the name.
Yeah. And the proceeds from that event help women who have gone through domestic violence.
Yes, correct. The proceeds from this event goes to benefit Shepherd's Door, which is a domestic violence program in the Pasadena area, founded by myself and my mother 17 years ago.
Wow.
Domestic violence is my cause of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's get into your background a little bit. And the reason that you choose domestic violence to benefit whenever you are putting together this luncheon is that you've gone through it yourself.
Yes. So I was a teenage mom, and my first relationship in high school was a domestic violence relationship. At that time, I didn't know it. I didn't really know anything about domestic violence. I come from a 2-parent family home. Both of my parents are still together 43 years.
Wow.
A loving dad.
Wow.
I never even seen my parents argue. So I never seen what domestic violence is. And as a teenager, it's my boyfriend. He was a popular guy in school, and, he was the bad boy. You know how that whole syndrome goes. And I didn't really see the jealousy and the control and the emotional abuse as abuse because no one's ever talked to me about abusive relationships, So that once I got out of that, in my early 20s, because of what I went through, my mother was so angry and outraged.
So she didn't know about it. You didn't tell her.
She knew there was something. No, because I really didn't understand what was happening, but she knew it was something different with her daughter. She knew that it was, isolation was one of the things, like he kept me away, and she just knew that it was something, but she didn't quite know exactly what it was. And she's a community advocate, and she works with women in the community. And through that, she started learning because she was seeing other clients of hers, having the same type of behaviors that she saw with her daughter. And
so was there physical?
It did end up getting physical, definitely towards the end. It started out as just emotional, psychological, controlling. When you're young, you think it's cute. He doesn't want me to talk to my friends. He just wants me all to himself. That's what you think because you don't know any better. And I was with him for quite some time, and as I kind of grew up in the relationship, and you just know that something's not right. And later, after I got out of it, is when I learned about what domestic violence was. And
what made you get out of it? Was it because of the abuse going on?
No, actually, he left me.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a blessing in disguise. I was a teenage mom. So, no one wants to, I don't think anyone goes into a relationship and wants to be a mom, by themselves. So
when you're that young.
When you're that young, yeah. So it's like a kind of blessing in disguise.
Yeah. So he left, and you're here alone with a kid.
Yeah, 2 kids.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was that like?
It was scary because I didn't know. He would tell me stuff like, "No one will ever want you because you have 2 kids," and I believed that. My parents was always together, so I believe no one's gonna want me with these 2 kids. So then you stay because that's what you feel like you're supposed to do. And I don't know what made him leave. To this day, I don't know. But I believe that it was really a divine intervention for me, because when he left was when I realized that what I was in wasn't healthy.
It's not good.
No.
Financial abuse is one of the things that you talk about having to do with domestic violence as well, isn't it?
Yes, 100%.
How does that work? And did you go through that?
I
too?
did 100%. Being young, he was mainly the breadwinner. He came from a kind of wealthy family, and I didn't work, coming out of high school right away, and I had the kids, and he bought me my car, he bought me my jewelry, he bought everything, and when you know that if you leave, you'll lose everything you have, it will kind of make you feel like you have to stay. Even though I had a mom and dad to go back home to, it's just, who wants to go back home? You have the comfort of your home. This is your home for you and your kids, so you stay. And I feel like most women, if they have financial security themselves and they know that they can provide for themselves and their children, if I knew what I knew then, now, I would have, without a doubt, felt like empowered enough to walk away and say that I don't need you. I can do this by myself. I can take care of my kids on my own.
How long do you think it took before you felt like that, like you were strong enough to be able to survive on your own, take care of your kids, and do what you needed to do?
Oh, it took me like 5 years. It took me 5 years. And from him, I went home, and from home was kind of where I gained my strength. And I kind of learned who I was as a woman. And that's when I started working. And my first career was in finance. And I realized I was good at it. My dad's a CPA. So I'm like, oh, I'm good at this, and I made really good money and I enjoyed it. And that's when I kind of felt empowered, and I knew that I can provide for myself and my children by myself. And then when I moved out and had my first place, and I was the one paying my rent and taking care of my kids and taking them to school, there was so much empowerment that came from that and growth that came from that. But I had no one else to look at. Because again, my mother always had my father. I never seen a single woman by herself raising her kids and being the brave. I've never seen it. I had to become it.
Yeah. I want to talk more about that financial independence when we come back, because I think that's important, and it kind of goes along with the message that you're bringing, because you're bringing a message of hope to women that have gone through the same situation.
Yes.
So I'm talking more about that in just a minute.
Okay, great.
All right. Back with Tunisia Offray in just a moment, and we'll talk more about financial freedom when we come back.